countdown to the 2025 NFL Draft is on. Today's edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report, we got some details for you on the top 30 visits for the Kansas City Chiefs ahead of the NFL Draft of some notable rookies that are going to make their way to Kansas City to meet with Brett Veach and Andy Reid and company to discuss the prospects of them potentially being drafted by the Chiefs. We'll tell you the names we know and catch you up to speed in just a matter of moments. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Before we go any further in today's show, if you want the Chiefs to have a great draft, I need you to like today's video. The more likes we get, the more it helps out the Chiefs have a great draft. Here's the deal, folks. 500 likes, it's going to be a great draft. I can promise you that much. 500 likes, you're going to be very pleased with this draft. Hit that like button. We appreciate it. We'll get going here on today's show. Here we go, folks. Let's get started with the visits tracker as Aireontae Ersery. Aireontae Ersery is the first name on the list, and he's probably the biggest name of the players we're talking about today. We're going to go more in depth and in more detail on Aireontae Ersery in just a bit, the offensive tackle from Minnesota. And my guy Joel Klatt, and I know Big Tex is a big Joel Klatt fan as well, he actually has the Chiefs projected to take Aireontae Ersery with their first-round pick at 31 overall. So the fact that they're visiting, and we already got mock drafts out there connecting the two, I think that's very, very important, folks. So we'll talk more about him coming up later on in the show. Anthony Belton, the offensive tackle from NC State. He's a guy that's starting to climb up some boards a bit. He's a name to watch, and I don't think he's a first-round guy, but could be a day 2 or maybe even day 3 potentially, name to watch there. Then another name, Mose Vavao, the offensive lineman from Fresno State, also taking a visit. And then from Washington State, we have Esa Pole, the offensive lineman there. You may be noticing a theme at this point. A lot of offensive linemen the Kansas City Chiefs are putting their focus on. And then we got a KU guy. A little rock chalk action. Like seeing this. Bryce Cabeldue, also on the list, the offensive lineman from the University of Kansas, getting a look. A lot of good KU players in this draft, by the way. You guys know I'm a KU guy. Got to represent. I love Devin Neal and Kobe Bryant, Mello Dotson. Now Bryce getting a look as well. That's cool to see. Another one for you. Gerad Christian-Lichtenhan, the offensive tackle from Oregon State, also on this list as well. And then we have Melvin Smith Jr. from Southern Arkansas. If you haven't heard of Southern Arkansas University, that's okay. And then one more for you. Caleb Etienne, the offensive tackle from BYU. So all in all, on this list, so far of the 8 names we know, only one of them is not an offensive lineman. That being this guy here, Melvin Smith Jr. He's a corner. Everyone else an offensive lineman. That seems to be the area of focus for the Kansas City Chiefs here to this point. Who is a player you would like to see the Chiefs draft? We've gone over several names that the Chiefs are speaking to. Weigh in, let us know a player that comes to mind that you'd like to see end up in Kansas City here in 2025. We are covering everything when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs. Draft, free agency, trades. We're bringing you breaking news, whether it's a video from here in the studio or at my house in the Jones Zone. We're all over it here on the channel. You got to be subscribed. We are your off-season headquarters for all things Kansas City Chiefs. Subscribe now for free. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. Stay up to date. We got you covered each and every day on the channel. Subscribe now. You'll be glad you did. All right, let's talk now about Aireontae Ersery, the offensive tackle from Minnesota. And you can see why his stock is rising and why he's being mentioned as a potential first-round pick for the Kansas City Chiefs, as he was named the Big Ten's Offensive Lineman of the Year in 2024. And to kind of get perspective on this, folks, the offensive lineman in the Big Ten, those are some big hog mollies up there. So the fact that he was named the best of the best All right, that's against some good competition and facing some good defenses there. First team All Big Ten selection. His grades from Pro Football Focus. So to kind of give people an idea here for a moment, usually the grades, if you want to compare college to NFL, you kind of subtract 10 from each category to get an NFL idea of what those grades are. So you see the grades, and overall is 77.5. Pass block grade is 77.3, and a run block grade is a 73.6. If you want to put an NFL perspective on that, that would be about a 67.5 overall grade, a 67.3 pass block grade, and a 63.6 run block grade. So you get the idea that he's good in those categories, but not necessarily great according to the nerd numbers, and that might be what's holding him back. I do like that he only allowed 1 sack and only got called for 3 penalties, so that's the silver lining there on that front. The scouting report, he's got a powerful punch. He's got good arm length. Size matters, my friends. Clear eyes and awareness as well. Clear eyes, full hearts can't lose. Solid athletic ability, but he can be a bit tardy when it comes to his striking times. He can be a little bit late. Kind of reminds me of Kingsley in that sense. That was one of his problems this past year as he was trying to become the starting left tackle for the Chiefs. So what do you think about the idea of drafting Aireontae Ersery? You got 2 options here. Type D for draft, P for pass. Wait in the comments section. Let us know if the Chiefs should draft him or not. Today's show is sponsored by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose 2 or more players on any given category. Get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking fantasy points in football, rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey, all sorts of different categories to choose from. PrizePicks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join over 10 million users and sign up today. At PrizePicks, you can mix and match player projections from different sports. Combine your favorite basketball players with players from baseball, hockey, esports, and much more. The app is really easy to use to create a lineup. All you have to do is pick more or less on a few player stats for your shot to win up to 1,000 times your money. PrizePicks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. The big dance going on this week in the NCAA tournament. I got Cooper Flagg to have more than half a point. That's a freebie there. Mark Sears, I'll go with less than 20.5. If I put $20 down and this hits, that turns into $60 on PrizePicks. Play along with me, PrizePicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. PrizePicks, run your game. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. So I want to go through a couple more players here in just a moment, but I think it's very obvious to everyone watching here that offensive line is of high interest right now, and it rightfully should be. It's the number 1 priority, I think, for this Kansas City Chiefs team of what they need to address. Here's a couple more players that stood out to me. Let's start with Anthony Belton here out of NC State. Overall grade, 73.7. Pass block grade, outstanding, an 87.2. Run block grade is 69.4. So if you want to wait on him and take him later, he's not a bad option. I would like to see him cut back on the penalties there a bit with 8 total penalties. Another guy like Caleb Etienne, offensive tackle from BYU, began his career with the Oklahoma State Cowboys, then played the last 2 seasons with Brigham Young with the Mormons. He was a first-team All-Big 12 selection in 2024. Phil Still named him as an All-American honorable mention. So with all that said, even with Kansas City picking at the end of the round for most of these picks, there are still plenty of options. They're looking for offensive linemen. They're going to have their pick of offensive linemen. My concern, I'll end on this, folks, is kind of like what we saw last year with Kingsley when they picked him in the 2nd round, was Kingsley wasn't ready, right? And we thought that he was. Andy thought that he was, but he clearly wasn't. What my concern is, by going with these offensive linemen, if you're not going to trade up potentially, can you find somebody that's ready to step in and play right away? Because that's what you're looking for, and that's what Brett Veach and company is going to have to figure out when it comes to these draft candidates of these offensive linemen. Who is ready to go from day one? If you enjoyed today's show, hit the like button. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time here on the channel.